Good evening, Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast fans. I am joined by M from Level 1 Games, Pompton Plains, New Jersey, Randy and Tommy from Back Sports Page. Well,
One of
you
the
fans
ways.
know the drill. Let's get this show started. Why don't we?
Agility from the champion. Oh, Deep Six! That could be it. Delivers this Deep Six.
Good evening, Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast fans. How are you all doing? I'm joined by M, Randy, and Tommy. This is the last show of Week 19, Episode 35. And guess what? This is the go-home show, the go-home podcast show, leading into AEW All Out this Saturday night. M, this might be Christmas Day for you this Saturday.
Dude has bloodshot eyes. He already cost $1. I am in Disneyland right now, so I'm done, man. I'm happy as hell.
But really quick, I made a promise in my fantasy football chats, and Tommy, I'm thankful that you're on tonight because I no offense, guys, but out of the three of you guys, I think Tommy can best answer this question. Your fantasy football picks, quick tips. Who are your go-to guys this year that maybe you might be able to help out somebody that might be watching right now?
Yeah. I mean, there's, this year's kind of one for just, we don't know what's going to happen. We don't even know if they're going to get through a full season, but there's a lot of players out there that a lot of people are overlooking. Joe Mixon had a really bad season last year, kind of picked it up towards the end. I think with Joe Burrow in that offense, he's going to have a really good bounce back season. Mark Andrews for the Baltimore Ravens. He's kind of one of those sleeper tight ends, kind of top 5 kind of guy, but he is a great red zone target. Lamar Jackson's going to utilize him a lot. And somebody that a lot of people are kind of overlooking because of his age, Tom Brady. I mean, talk about a great offense that he's in, especially with Leonard Fournette just signing there. I don't see how you couldn't, he's kind of the guy where you pick him and put him in and leave him. And I think he's going to have a really good season, even with his age.
Interesting. Randy, I'm not too sure if you're football minded, but Randy, your thoughts on Daniel Jones this year really quick.
Daniel Jones is a quarterback, since I do cover the Giants, I know a lot about. I think Daniel, as long as Joe Judge is working with him on his fumbling issues from last season, that was his big issues that cost the Giants about 3 or 4 different games, was just mental errors. But you have to remember, too, the great quarterbacks, Peyton Manning, even Eli Manning, and some of these other great quarterbacks, their rookie years, they were very high on turnovers. It just takes time to work through those. I think Daniel Jones is going to show improvement and take the next step. I think not next year, the year after is when you're going to see Daniel Jones become an elite quarterback in this league. But it's progressive, and the key for the Giants is going to be the offensive line. As long as they give Eli, I'm sorry. See, I'm so trained for Eli Manning. Years. Yeah, I know. I've been saying it for 16 years already. As long as the offensive line will give Daniel Jones the time to throw the ball to find the targets, he's going to be fine. And I also think that the key is going to be the amount of time the offensive line is going to give Saquon Barkley to run the ball. If you cut down the amount of throws that Daniel Jones is going to have down to maybe about 25 throws, his percentage is going to be much better. And when you have a stud running back like Saquon Barkley, it's going to make life a lot easier for Daniel Jones.
Tommy, really quick, I'm going to put you on the gun, hot seat really quick. Best running back that's not Christian McCaffrey this year.
That's a tough one. I like Kamara. I really do like Kamara. I think he is one of those kind of undervalued guys for what he brings to the table. I know he's one of the top 5 running backs in the league, but he's definitely overlooked for the production that he brings. Can get you out of the backfield with the pass catching. Obviously can run between the tackles. Is a great outside burst guy. I really like what he does for that offense. He gives a nice safety valve to Drew Brees. He's got to be my pick.
Randy, hot seat, your top wide receiver this year.
Oh God,
Cortland Sutton.
Yeah, you can't. I also like the kid from New Orleans, the one who's going through the contract dispute right now too. He's another one who's just Tommy, help me out.
Michael Thomas.
Yes, Michael Thomas. Michael Thomas is an amazing receiver for the New Orleans Saints. I like him. Drew Brees has made him a star, and you can't say anything bad about him. He's just a good kid who's. And I also like Hopkins. Hopkins, it's a shame that the Texans moved him, but Hopkins is another great wide receiver in the NFL. You can't go wrong either pick.
Awesome, guys. Thank you so much for that insight. Legends League fantasy football that I'm in right now. There's some tips for you. Roll with it. But we are here to talk wrestling. We have a big week. This is the last big week for the next couple weeks until we have New Japan coming up later this month. But it has been a busy week in wrestling, and then as soon as New Japan starts, it's going to be more like another busy month. But it's been a busy couple weeks. AEW wraps it up for about 2 weeks or so, and then it's going to get busy again. Anyhow, we're going to do some predictions, why don't we? So we're going to start with the first match. We're going to run down, starting with Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express. This could very well be the opening match of the pay-per-view. As we've noticed that Dynamite looks to be opening up all their Wednesday night shows with tag team matches. We see that the Young Bucks and Jurassic Express versus SCU and Private Party yesterday. So that was a 4-4, and the winning team faces each other at All Out. So that was Young Bucks and Jurassic Express that won last night in the opening match in Dynamite. So that's how we got to Young Bucks versus Jurassic Express for this Saturday. M, this is for you. To start off with, who do you got winning this match? What do you think?
You're setting up a title match for the next pay-per-view. I'd say the Young Bucks. So I say FTR versus Young Bucks later on in the year, maybe November. Is that the next pay-per-view? I think Revolution.
Yeah.
And that's where my money lies, man. If I was a betting man, which I'm not because I have really bad luck, that's where I would place my money. So that's my pick for this match.
Awesome.
Listen, I'll be the first one to tell you that the tag team of the Young Bucks last night, where I liked the edge that they had. I liked seeing them aggressive, borderlining a little heelish there because
Kenny pissed them off.
Yeah, Kenny. Well, Kenny, not Kenny. Well, no,
Hangman.
Yeah.
Pissed off from the week before.
Hangman pissed them off. But one of the things that I think has been missing with the Young Bucks is they come out like the Rockers every single week, and with high fiving, always happy. And I just like seeing a little bit more edginess where they're just being more aggressive, being a little bit more. Emma's favorite word, heelish a little bit. I know. I think it was very good. And look, the Jurassic Express, we've been saying for a while, they've been waiting to get through the pandemic to get Jungle Boy that big win. And I think that we're coming out of it now with the live crowd being there. I would not be surprised to see an upset here, to see the Jurassic Express pull one over on the Bucks and get a win, and then see the Bucks go nuts afterwards and do a post-match attack.
Yeah, no, I completely agree. I think you can still get to that FTR Young Bucks match with Jurassic Express winning. We talk, like you just mentioned, Jungle Boy deserves that big win. I think he's one of the best in the ring in the whole company. And I think that, if they do get this win, it'll give them a lot of momentum going into the next pay-per-view. But if I have to choose, I'm going to go Jurassic Express here for the upset.
I have a question for you. Is this for a number one contender match?
I don't think so.
I don't believe so.
I don't see them. Okay. I don't see them dropping a match this early to what is it, Jurassic Express. Don't get me wrong, guys. Like, I would love to see an upset because sometimes this is too predictable. I just don't see it. It logically speaking, I don't think they're going to give Jungle Boy that win yet. I think they're going to do it later on down the road when we have more people. And that's the thing that I was complaining about a couple of weeks ago is that holding pattern. I don't think we're completely out of it. I think we're still 25% capacity is exactly that. So they're probably going to give us about 25% effort on these storylines. Eventually, we'll get where we want to go, but I don't think we're there yet. Not with. We need screaming rabid fans in the audience, and we're just not there yet.
So I'm thinking the Young Bucks. I'm leaning. I'm 60-40. I'm 60% Young Bucks win. So I'm leaning more towards the Young Bucks over Jurassic Express. I think if Jurassic Express gets a win here, I don't think it's going to be clean, to no fault of them, or due to any alliances or anything. I think somebody may come out and distract Young Bucks and cost them the match, so they can go that route where Jurassic Express can get a win there too.
But here's a question: if Jurassic Express gets a win, what's next for them? Do they get a title match? Does it put them first place in the rankings?
I think Jurassic Express will get a title match, or they're gonna be a couple other tag team title matches between now and by the time they get to Young Bucks and FTR.
I certainly hope so.
Yeah, they will. I think so.
Listen, I think right now.
You still got September. You still got October.
I think right now you're still forgetting about the Best Friends. You're still forgetting about Proud and Powerful. You're forgetting about some of these other teams. Look, the Jurassic Express. When we talk about tag teams,
they're due a win.
Well, it's not they're due a win, but not only that, but there's a bunch of other tag teams. We're just talking about the Nightmare Family before we're talking about Jurassic Express. We're talking about Dustin and QT Marshall before we're talking about Jungle Boy and Luchasaurus.
You put them above Jurassic?
No, I'm not.
I wouldn't know. Yeah.
I'm not putting them above it, but I'm just saying when we're having the conversations about the tag teams of AEW, we're not even bringing up the Jurassic Express. We're bringing up the Nightmare Family before we even bring them up. I'm not telling you. I'm not. Well, it is weird. It is weird because they're a very good tag team, but at the same time, this is what we're doing right now, and not just us. I'm saying in general, when we're talking about AEW tag teams, the Dinosaur Family over there is not even really being brought up. We're talking about we're talking about some of these other teams. We're even talking about Griff Garrison and Pineapple Pete before we're talking about the Jungle Family over there. So look, I think the tag team division in AEW is very, very fierce, and that's my biggest problem with two singles guys holding the tag team championship right now.
Now, if you want to go by, I'm looking at the rankings here. If you want to go by,
which make no sense,
rankings,
by the way. Which I was afraid of.
You got the.
You had called it. The first time they did the rankings, we called that.
You got QT Marshall, National Nightmares at 6-2. Jurassic Express is right underneath them at 6-3.
That is insane.
The Young Bucks, believe it or not, are 6-3. Best Friends 14-5. Well, they wrestled a lot through the pandemic, but that all counted. FTR 7-0. So they're in the top 5. So.
Gotta love those dark matches, baby. Gotta love the AEW dark matches.
So this is 2020 in a nutshell. When the Nightmare Family, when Dustin and QT Marshall are above guys who were there from the beginning. Like, don't get me wrong, they were there from the beginning, but they weren't a tag team in the beginning. 2020. Stop messing with me, please.
So you gotta believe that we're looking at Jurassic Express and even the National Nightmares or Best Friends. One, if not two of them, are going to get a tag shot between now and November Revolution for sure.
But that's another thing. It's like we'll have these rankings, but then we'll give
if they're going by rankings. Sometimes they pull out a number one contender match out of nowhere.
Just out of nowhere, exactly.
They like the Battle Royale. We're going to talk about a little later.
Yeah,
and would be 9-0 on AEW right now.
Perfect, baby.
You're the Griff Garrison of the group.
Exactly. I need
without the hair.
Without the hair.
They shaved me in the back.
Matt Hardy versus Sammy Guevara in a Broken Rules match. So the stipulation here, if Matt Hardy loses, he has to leave. No stipulation if Sammy Guevara loses. The stipulation is if Matt Hardy loses, he has to leave. So in listening to Living the Gimmick podcast, one of my favorite podcasts, they were talking about the possibility that if Matt Hardy loses, it's just his character that's going to leave, and he'll probably use one of his other characters. And what do you think about that?
This one is so predictable. This one is 100%.
You know, Sammy. This has Sammy written all over it to win.
No, Sammy's winning. No, I think Matt Hardy's winning. I don't think they're gonna go that gimmicky and say, "Hey, Matt Hardy's gone. Hey, Hardy Matt is back." Like I don't see that happening. At least I hope that's not the case, because that would be hokey as hell. But you never know. This is a wrestling industry, so stranger things have happened. But I'm going to put, again, I'm not good at this, but I'm placing my bet on Matt Hardy, man. I don't see him dropping this match.
Well, and not sorry to interrupt you, Randy, but we also got to remember that Sammy Guevara stood tall last week with his win in the tables match, so it very well could be Matt Hardy.
Wrestling logic never fails.
Tony Khan earlier today was praising on how much Matt Hardy has actually given to AEW. Not to try to spoil that, but he's been a very big contributor behind the scenes, just like guys like Christopher Daniels and other guys like that. So, look, I think there's always a point too where Matt Hardy has always talked about taking those next steps of working in the wrestling industry behind the scenes. Maybe this is his way of putting himself that way. You know what I mean? So I think it's gonna be a very, very fun match. These gimmicky matches always seem to go very, very well for Matt. Remember, he one time fought Bray Wyatt and jumped on a lawnmower and was the mower of lawns. So he finds a way to always be very, very, very creative. I just think Sammy not having any stipulations on him if he loses opens the door to Matt winning, because like M says, wrestling logic.
Yeah, I 100% agree. I have Matt Hardy winning. My thing is I was kind of disappointed in the tables match. I thought, going into it, there's only about 10 minutes left in the show. It seemed like they kind of rushed to a lot of spots to get everything going. With this one being kind of a no holds barred match, as we know that, Matt is leaving if he loses, I hope they get a lot of time to really, just go out there and beat the hell out of each other, because we've seen in their interactions, with the chair shot that started this whole kind of rivalry, I guess, or at least turned it up to another notch. These two will and can beat the hell out of each other, and I hope that that's what they do this week. But I'm going to go with Matt Hardy as well.
All right.
Is Wayne going to go with Matt Hardy?
Listen.
Somebody's got to be the person.
Sammy Guevara stood tall the last show. So it could make sense that Matt Hardy's going to win, but like I said, like Randy alluded to, this could be his way into doing something else. Or Matt Hardy could just drop what he's doing right now and use one of his other gimmicks, and go hokey that way. There's a couple ways you can go here for sure. Dark Order versus Matt Cardona, Scorpio Sky, and Natural Nightmares. Listen, based off of last week, Dark Order is just starting to catch momentum. Brody Lee just got that TNT title. They didn't do too much on that I can recall last night. Correct me if I'm wrong, but to me, Dark Order's got a little momentum here, and I think you got to give them the win, despite the fact who you have on the other side with Matt Cardona, who we don't even know is officially signed or not. So who do you got?
I got this is a good one because it could go so many different ways. You know what? I'm gonna go with Dark Order, but like you said, 60-40. Because you Matt Cardona is there for just a couple of appearances for the moment. For all we know,
5. Yeah.
For all we know, they give him the win to kind of entice him to stay. It's a tryout. What is it? A tryout contract. I really hope they don't give him the win, like you said. Dark Order needs this momentum. They just got it. And then I was one of the first people that it blew my mind. I was jumping up and down on my chair. I love this stuff when the bad guys get the momentum. It makes the story that much better. So for them to start dropping matches now, come on, you still got the whole. Listen, we have the numbers. All right, don't start taking losses when you have all that momentum, because that's exactly how you lose that momentum. So I honestly hope that Dark Order just annihilates the other team. That would make such a difference in my eyes.
And really quick, who takes the pinfall if Dark Order wins?
QT.
It's got to be QT, yeah, for sure.
Yeah, I would like not. I want them to beat somebody better, but they're right. More than likely it will be QT.
Yeah.
Well, and I'll tell you why they're not going to do that, because Scorpio Sky they're trying to build.
Exactly.
They want Cardona to stay. And Dustin's like, my brother's name is Cody. So I think
my
that's
dad's name is Dusty.
Look, no. In all seriousness, I look at it in two ways. Also, they can also now tease Colt Cabana being kicked out of the Dark Order, because they can. So if they actually Dark Order takes a loss, it could be Colt taking the loss and Mr. Brody Lee starting that little parting of the ways with Colt Cabana too. That's just another idea that you can throw in there to build another story. Because again, Tommy knows this, that Tony Khan has been very big with trying to build stories, and you have to loop in one with the other. Obviously, Mr. Brody Lee's and the Dark Order is going to go back with Cody once he gets back from filming his movie, and once he's back doing that, then you're going to need for other things to do. We don't know when Cody's coming back. I think they said it was going to be up to 1 to 2 months of Cody off of TV. So they need something to do. So the Colt Cabana thing is interesting, but the Dark Order also, you can put some people out there to take a loss for the Dark Order that won't stop the momentum of Mr. Brody Lee and won't stop the momentum of Uno. It won't stop that. But they have other ways of doing it. I do think the Dark Order needs to keep the momentum going. And QT Marshall, look, at the end of the day, he is the fall guy. He is the Sammy Guevara of that team. I hate to say it that way, but it's the truth.
The workhorse.
Yeah, baby. Yeah, baby. Take that L.
Take the loss.
Take that L.
No, but honestly, when I look at this, we talked about the last time I was on the show when we talked about AEW, how great the Brody Lee segment was when he won the TNT title. I mean, the squash match that he had coming out, it really just made the entire group. Yeah, exactly. Unexpected. And, the attack after, where they attacked the Nightmare family, they attacked Arn Anderson, they attacked Brandy Rhodes. It was great. It was something, I praised it. It was the best segment of the entire week for me. I just don't know how you cannot give Dark Order the win here. I think, even the way I see it going, I'd love to see a squash match. I'd love to see them beat them in less than 5 minutes. I think, with Cardona and with Scorpio Sky on the other team, it's kind of tough because, like you said, we've seen Scorpio Sky kind of get a little bit more momentum since the match against Cody. We've seen Cardona, being a new guy into the AEW ranks. He's done really well for himself. I just don't see how Dark Order cannot get this win here. I think with Brody Lee being the dominant force that he is and being the TNT champion, you said Stu Grayson's been doing well. Evil Uno's been doing well. It's tough for me to see any possible way where Dark Order doesn't win this match. And hopefully, they do it in convincing fashion to really continue to build the momentum for that team, because they have the chance to be the hottest act in wrestling.
There's no reason for Dark Order not to get the win here. You got to keep that momentum going if you're trying to build a strong faction,
especially on pay-per-view. Like I'm paying, what is it, $50? Even though Randy's paying some of it, but that it's such an important.
Is that going company?
Yeah, right. No, but if you're gonna have them win a match, let it be on pay-per-view. Let it be that moment where people are there, they're paying. Excuse me, and it shows that they've arrived.
Yeah, no, look the Dark Order when it first started. You and I were talking a lot about on how it came out very, very hokey, and I think Mr. Brody Lee, when he came in, it brought some more legitimacy to it.
100%.
And so if you're going to add legitimacy like that by having a guy who's established from a different company come in, making it look like it was a crossover for the longest time, you need to help build that so much more. So they have to be dominant, and they have to be dominant for like maybe a 2 or 3 month span. And so when they finally do take that loss, it's a big deal.
it means something.
Exactly. And right now, some of the things that AEW does, maybe just because they were in a holding pattern for so long, it makes it feel like some of the losses, like Lance Archer took a big loss to Cody for the TNT Championship, and it doesn't seem like he ever really recovered. But meanwhile, he's taking people and throwing their heads through ceilings.
Through the ceiling.
But he hasn't gotten a big win yet.
Yeah.
So
I think that this is one of those matches that you can pay off if they ever do get around to doing the blood and guts match. Having the nightmare, having the Nightmare family with Cody returning and getting them that big win in that kind of stipulation match. I think that would be a good idea.
And also with doing that with the blood and guts, it also will stop it from being the Inner Circle versus the Elite again. By putting the Dark Order in there, it changes it up and makes the story more fresh. And you can always put the Inner Circle back in there at a later point.
Yeah, totally. 100%.
We got the 21-man Casino Royale. Winner gets a future title shot. Be a number one contender. Well, it seems to me that a couple guys have been primarily featured here throughout this build. I don't even know who all 21 of the guys are. I know who about 9 of them are. But we got Cage that's in there. He's been featured as part of this build. Could he go on to win this match and get a second title match and eventually win? Who knows? Lance Archer has been heavily featured. I feel like he might be the one to do it, even though he doesn't need it because he's high in the rankings already. Have at it. What do you think?
I'm gonna go.
Who wins?
That is so tough because half of the battle royal, I don't know who's in it. The only guys I know were the guys that were featured on Wednesday. If I had to pick, and this is my pick out of a random pick out of a hat, I'm picking Brian Cage, man. From what Tony Khan said months ago was that he was strapping a rocket on his back. He was going to strap a rocket to Brian Cage's back, and he was going to shoot him to the moon. So if that's the case, and we've just been waiting for people in the audience, I guess this is the start of that. That's my logic. But remember, wrestling logic is not my logic, and it could be totally different. We can have Darby Allin win this thing and just make me angry. I don't know.
Oh, you're going to make you angry. That's my pick. I love Darby Allin.
I'm so sorry.
I have to go with Lance Archer. I just think because Jake did a great promo with him. I think it was 2 weeks ago when he made a comment. He said, we had one step up and one misstep against Cody. And if he said, it feels like we've been looked over. And I think there's a little bit of truth in that promo. And Archer and Moxley have worked before in New Japan and they know each other. I'm not going to say it's going to be a 5-star classic, but I think it's still
could be a bar burner.
Yeah, it could be the next step and the next big challenger. If you're going to ask me if I think that they should move away from the MJF thing so quickly, I don't think so. But obviously they're already promoting this person's going to get the next title shot. I think it's going to be Archer because I think they built him up as a monster so much, and he's not doing anything. And I think Cage, they're as we heard from Khan today, the FTW titles, they have plans for it. So I don't think it's going to be Cage because they already have other plans for him. The next logical choice would have to be Archer because you look at the rest of the lineup, unless you start throwing some names in there that are big names that we don't know about, I don't know who else it can be than Archer.
Like last time, the last pay-per-view, Brian Cage was a surprise entrance in that. What was that? The chip? What do they call that?
It was the chip. It had the chip. It was the ladder match.
And he used ladder match.
So he was the surprise entrance. So who's to know that there could be a surprise entrance? Right. That person wins.
Brock Lesnar.
I just hope he throws Darby like a dart again, like he did it last time. That was so funny. He threw him right into the ladder. All of a sudden, M called me. He goes, "Did you see that?" He threw him like,
dude. That's how you throw midgets at a bar. It's like
not that you've ever done that before.
I know. I'm little.
No experience.
We digress.
Oh man, you're hurting me here because I love Darby Allin. I really do think he has a good chance of winning this match. It just depends if they want to continue the Allen and Cage story. I think we've seen that been going for a few months. We could see Billy Gunn win the match.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, for sure. But no, if I had to choose somebody other than
jump in that time machine, baby. 1999,
exactly.
Billy Gunn.
It's Billy Gunn and his son are going to win this match. No, but I agree with you. I think if it wasn't Darby Allin, I think Lance Archer is the right choice here. I think, he's been looked like a monster the past few weeks. You mentioned him throwing the guys in the back of the locker room, like through the ceiling and everything. I just think they need to give him something to do. And like you said, Cage has the FTW championship. We heard on Tony Khan's media call today that they're going to try and do something completely different with the titles compared to other titles that you see across other promotions. So I think they have a good idea of what they want to do with him. And we could see that with, a Cage and Allen combination. Maybe Ricky Starks turns on Taz and Brian Cage somewhere down the line. I really do think if it's not Darby Allin, it's got to be Lance Archer.
Yeah, I really can't disagree with you guys here. Lance Archer's been the one that's been heavily featured in this build. I feel like this 21-man Casino Battle Royal has been built around him, Brian Cage. I don't think I see Darby Allin. I mean, getting if he wins, are they going to have him fed to Moxley a second time? I don't see it. So I have to rule out Moxley there. I think Darby Allin, like you mentioned, is going to continue with Starks for sure. That looks like where they're headed, and then Cage. I have to go Archer. I have to go Archer too. I think, unless it's a surprise engine we don't know about.
I'm telling you, you're going to hear the Brock Lesnar music, and everybody's going to mark out.
Oh, my goodness. No
90-day complete cause for him.
Yeah, right? He don't care. AEW Women's Championship, Hikaru Shida versus one of M's favorite girls, Thunder Rosa. And let me tell you, Thunder Rosa, I was kind of surprised that she had somewhat of a high-profile matchup against Serena Deeb this close to All Out. Great match that they had on Dynamite. Thunder Rosa looked very good. I'm surprised that maybe she didn't get on TV a week earlier, but it is what it is. She looked great on Dynamite, and in my opinion, Hikaru Shida's biggest opponent yet, probably Thunder Rosa. Have at it, man.
Dude,
what do you think?
This is like one of my dream matches. When Thunder Rosa first signed with NWA, you can ask everybody, I was pissed. I was like, I wanted her for AEW so bad. Now I get my wish. Dude, this girl, she can wrestle. And she's not like the other ones that Hikaru just like demolished. This is going to be a legit good match, man. It's going to be wrestling at its finest. I can't wait. Unfortunately, since Thunder Rosa is signed with NWA, we can kind of sit there and predict this one with certainty that Shida will retain. But listen, I'm excited regardless. Like, again, she should have signed with AEW. I would have been ecstatic. Randy, what do you think of that?
Listen, again, also hearing from what Tony Khan had to say about the relationship with NWA, this may not be a one-time appearance. They do have a good working relationship. Billy Corgan and Tony Khan are friends, and they're helping out the NWA by featuring some of their talent right now on their shows. And he's also given a lot of the NWA talent the opportunity that if AEW wants them, they will work out either a share deal, or he'll give them a full-blown release to sign with AEW. With that being said, this would not be a bad thing for Shida to lose the title here, to keep the cross-promotion going, because it helps the NWA to have AEW show up on their show as well.
Yeah, definitely. Oh, my God.
So, like, I'm going out there. I'm not, like you said, we can pretty much see that Shida's probably going to retain here, but it's fun in this situation to say, what if you can do that and have a cross promotion with AEW and the NWA?
Oh, I would. Oh my God!
It raises the stat. Like, people don't realize how good it is to be a wrestling fan right now. Yeah. Just not with WWE. You got New Japan, which my compadre above me right now is very, very, very big fan with. AEW, which that's like my bag. If I'm jumping on conference calls just so I can hear what Tony has to say. Impact Wrestling is coming back, and they're doing very, very well rebuilding their brand. You have Ring of Honor, who's starting to come back with with new footage and new product for everybody, and then you have the NWA, which again, that power set that they do is so different. It's such a good time to be a wrestling fan because there's so much variety. It's better than watching Roman Reigns Superman punch everybody for the 1 millionth time.
Well, hold on, Randy.
You talked about his favorite.
Yeah, you went there. I have to tell you, the Roman Reigns experiment is fresh right now. So let's not rip it to shreds just yet.
We have to discuss your definition of
Roman
fresh.
Reigns with Paul Heyman. I'm willing to give it a chance. He should have been turned heel a couple of years ago. But I digress. Really quick, Tom, right before we get back to you, for those of you guys that are watching, feel free to give us a like and a subscribe. Share with your friends. We've had quite a number of viewers tonight. So make sure that you guys are sharing this. And Tommy, back to you. We were talking the women's championship. So, who do you got winning this match? Do we get a surprise win with Thunder Rosa getting the win here, or is Thunder Rosa just there to help the depth of the women's division for Shida to have opponents? What's happening here? Who do you think wins?
I mean, Randy brought up a really good point with the conference call here in. Tony Khan talking about the working relationship that he has with Billy Corgan and NWA. We've seen competitors from other promotions come in and win titles that are not a part of the main promotion that they're on. Even with AEW's world champion, Jon Moxley, he's the IWGP United States champion. He hasn't defended it in a while because of New Japan being down. But could you imagine how great it would be if Thunder Rosa came in, took the AEW Women's Championship off of Shida, and she defends it, on a semi-consistent basis? I don't know if that's going to happen, but knowing how good of a relationship Corgan and Khan have, it would not surprise me. So I'm honestly going to take Thunder Rosa here. I think she is a fantastic wrestler. She is so good in the ring. This match is going to, in my opinion, steal the show. I think this is going to be, one of the best matches we see all year. So I'm going to go with Thunder Rosa here.
This could very well be the women's match of the night. But imagine this: Thunder Rosa with the win and her taking that belt onto another show.
Yes, we've wanted that for so many people have, threatened to do that. CM Punk did it with, the WWE Championship when he threatened to go back to ROH. Obviously, that was never going to happen, but how great would it have been if they actually would have let him defend that in a different promotion?
That's the dream, man. Listen, we had Nick Aldis with Ring of Honor, so it is very possible.
Next up, M, I know this is one of your favorite topics. This could very well be the match of the night for AEW All Out this Saturday night. We have the FTR, two very combustible elements. We have a couple scenarios that could be going on, but we have, excuse me, let me backtrack a little bit. FTR versus Kenny Omega and Adam Page. So the combustible elements amongst that tag team, who are the current AEW Tag Team Champions, defended against FTR, who's been on a roll. I believe their record is 7-0 right now. This could very well be Christmas Day for you.
I'm telling you.
You have been waiting for months for a turn. We've been talking about it ad nauseum each and every single week. What do you think?
Dude, they can go so many different ways with this storyline. I just want progression. That's all I want, and I'm so excited that we're on the cusp of something. We've waited patiently through. I will take that back. I wasn't very patient. I waited every goddamn week.
No, you have not.
But we are right there, man. We're about to take this jump, and I'm excited as hell. Is he going to be a bad guy? Is he going to be a good guy? Is he going to be like the alcoholic that's like an ugly alcoholic that, like, oh, I cannot wait. And it's going to be great. Oh my God. Like, FTR is winning this one 100%. And it's going to take us into the roller coaster ride. If anything, this is the start of the line at Great Adventure. We're right there, man. And I'm like flipping out. It's going to happen finally. God, it feels good to be alive.
Yo, you better hope that this match is like towards the middle of the card or later in the card so that your store is closed.
Oh yeah, don't get me started on that. Listen, we close at 8:00. I already got the manager working till 8:00 so that I can set up. And I'm ready.
You gotta have that plan because AEW likes to do tag team matches first. They could pull a fast one and do a tag title match and go in hot. But I don't think they will though.
Break my heart.
Randy, what do you think?
The only person who might know how excited M would be the person who does his laundry because his shorts might be.
They're a different color.
Look, at the end of the day, the Kenny Omega interview was a great setup for what's going on, and Hangman coming out with the red eyes and stuff like that. Like the one thing I think they're not exploring as much with Hangman Page is the issue he has with alcohol. I think they have to. They have to.
One, he's always drinking.
Exactly.
Well, did something out of the norm last week, costed his friends a tag match.
Oh, and there's remorse there, but there's so many issues, Randy. I'm sorry.
But Em, if you remember back when they were on the Jericho cruise, that's when this whole thing started. This whole thing started it was like the first Dynamite of the year. When they're like, is the Elite coming back? And Hangman Page goes, I'm not going to go in the ring. Like,
yeah, he didn't want anything to do with it.
Yeah, and then when Matt Jackson and Nick Jackson threw him out of the Elite last week, you and I were just sort of like, dude, the guy said he wasn't going to be in the Elite. If you're watching Being in the Elite, he's been trying to leave the Elite now for 6 months, 7 months. Yeah. So I'm just looking for continuity in the storyline. But either way, M's finally getting his wish. The Cowboys will be riding off into the sunset this Saturday without a belt, without a tag team partner. So I think it's gonna be FTR all the way, baby.
But dude, there is continuity because he wanted to be out of the Elite, but they were still his friends. At the end of the day, they have been through a lot together. So there is that continuity there, and he betrayed them.
Yeah,
it's Tommy. It's Christmas time. God, where are my presents?
I mean,
this is your present.
This is all you get this year.
2020, baby.
Naughty boy. No, I mean, we talked about it last time I was on.
Hopefully it's not Cole.
It's going to be Cole.
Michael Cole.
Oh, no.
The big dog.
2020.
Go on. What could be any worse?
Yeah, exactly. What could be worse? It's boss time. It's like, God damn it.
I almost broke the TV last time that happened.
Tommy, go on.
I mean, they brought up great points. I just don't know how FTR doesn't win this match. They've been building it so well. The inevitable Kenny Omega versus Hangman Page match is going to be great. This is going to be one of the best matches on the card too. M brought up, for sure. I think with everything going on with the storyline progression, I just FTR is one of the best tag teams in the entire world. Kenny Omega and Hangman Page are some of the best wrestlers. But like we said earlier in the show, it just doesn't make sense for singles wrestlers to be holding the tag team titles. And FTR works so well as a tag team, bringing in Tully Blanchard and having them be, their manager, with the tease of them doing another, 4 horsemen or whatever we called it last time, the 4 guys with horses.
Yes.
I mean, FTR's winning this match, and it's going to be, we talked about betting. I'd put everything I have on FTR winning this match.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so a couple scenarios. We've seen a teased heel turn with Kenny. We noticed he's been a little unstable the past couple weeks. We have noticed the relationship with Hangman and getting along backstage, having some drinks with FTR. So there's no secret there. So we got a couple scenarios, but the scenario that nobody's talking about is what if Kenny goes heel? What if he turns and FTR stays face and Hangman goes over there? What do you think of?
I don't see it.
No.
FTR definitely. Listen, FTR
is there a possibility that both Kenny Omega and Hangman eventually turn heel and join FTR?
It's a possibility, but before I answer that, it's something I wanted to say. FTR is with who?
Tully Blanchard.
Tully Blanchard. Yeah, and we know that Sean Spears is kind of hanging out with him too.
Exactly. There's no way. 110% they are heels, man. They beat up an old dude like a couple of weeks ago. The bad guys are here.
Ricky Morton sold so well for that spot, though.
And there's no way you can sit there and say FTR are the good guys. They may have acted good in the very beginning. They are full heel, man. They beat up the old dude, and they're probably going to beat up a hell of a lot more people and do dastardly things.
A hell of a lot more old people. They're taking them all out.
I am down with it, man. It's like, what is it? F the old people, like what it stands for. I don't know.
Well, there's also part of it. There's also no part you're missing too. Is I think there's also more to the Tully Blanchard Arn Anderson relationship that might be leading into a Cody heel turn that's putting them with the FTR and then Hangman Page as well.
But that one I don't see because he has his own stable already. I don't see him going heel unless the whole family goes heel.
They could slow burn it.
They could slow burn it. I just don't see it. Not yet.
Listen, you have to just throw this because I've heard that idea out there that Cody turns heel and you put him with them because of Arn Anderson, or Anderson turns on the Rhodes family again, like he's known to doing in the past.
And that's what I see happening. That's what I want to happen. That would that would be my second present of the night. If that happened, come on.
Listen, I don't think you're celebrating Christmas. You might be looking for Hanukkah because you want a whole bunch of different presents here.
What's the German? What's it? Krampus?
Krampus is coming,
baby. I am Krampus.
How did we get here?
For the naughty kids.
How did we get here?
He doesn't deliver presents, man. I took 2 years, I took like 6 years of
yeah.
He doesn't deliver no presents.
Yeah, he puts kids in sacks. He's the ultimate heel. I'm down with that.
Beats them with sticks.
Exactly. Krampus, baby. This is
Krampus is the ultimate heel.
Has anyone seen the train? Because I think it just went off the tracks.
So I think we could all agree that FTR is getting the win here.
Yes, okay. FTR is getting the win.
No,
thank you, Wayne. Thank you, Wayne.
It may very well not be Christmas Day.
Don't. Come on.
But what if they just lose the tag titles and this just starts just the continuation of a split up eventually?
Why you gotta throw the wrench?
What if Omega?
What if they retain?
I don't see that happening. But
I'd be losing everything I have.
Omega and Adam Page get a return match and lose the return match, and then we see a turn.
See, you are the true Krampus. I was right there, man. You're taking it away.
It's just an idea, if they decide to go 50-50 booking.
You're throwing it into the universe.
Are they going to wait that long? I mean, it's a pay-per-view. Like, what's the point? Are they going to do it on a random episode of Dynamite? I just don't see that happening. I just don't see how FTR doesn't take the win here with how much they've been building this story and how you mentioned, FTR is undefeated going into this match. Yeah. I don't see them losing here, especially on a major pay-per-view like All Out.
Yeah, that's true. But where do you place the Kenny Omega versus Adam Page match? Will you put that on November, right? You need to do something to bridge between now and November.
Right, but there's one thing that you're
how about a return match in October and then the turn happens?
No, I think there's something else with it. I think there's something else with it too. I think FTR wins the championships, and I think the Young Bucks cost Page and Hangman the belts because they cost
and you know what, that could be the heel turn right there for both Omega and Hangman.
Right, and then it turns into Bucks versus Hangman and Omega for the number one contendership, and then that's when everything starts really blowing up.
See, I like that. That's good. That's a good idea there.
I'm here all week, ladies and gentlemen.
Randy, go right for him.
Randy.
Yes, sir.
And that essentially turns FTR face.
No, it doesn't, because
we're not going to have a heel versus heel match in November.
No, but I look at it looking at it like this. I think
you would keep Young Bucks face. They haven't really officially turned heel. I think Omega.
Yeah, exactly.
In that match, they'd be heels, wouldn't they?
You're a heel at that point. That's a heel move.
Right, but the thing is, though, FTR is still heels. You're not taking away their heat.
Yes, but
It's one of those things. It's one of those things. It has more to do with Hangman because you can take the FTR factor out of the breaking up of the Elite. If you're breaking up the Elite and having the Bucks versus Page and Omega, the FTR can also go on to something else and be bigger heels. They can do some other things, and you can always go back to it.
But the problem is, it's FTR has to look strong in this match. They have to win without interference. You can't say you're the best of the world and then win by interference. That's like that other company type stuff. Do not fall into that trap.
Well, I think they could have some interference and then wrestle for a few more minutes, and then they do a heelish move to finish it off.
Exactly. They can interfere, but it cannot be the conclusion. It can't. Because it will destroy everything. And I hope that they didn't listen to you and they were like, oh, wow, Randy's these ideas. Great.
Changing the card right now.
I like how Randy thinks.
I like my idea. I like my idea.
Our biggest fan, Randy, brought in a really good suggestion. We're going to use it on the show here tonight.
Tony Khan's like, oh my God, I love it.
I love it. I'm going to use it now.
That's what I like so much about this tag team feud is there's a lot of possibilities and there's other layers to it and other components, meaning wrestling talent hovering around the storyline too as well. Who's going to go where? Who's going to turn on who? So probably one of the more compelling slow burn storylines in AEW going right now. But switching gears, we'll bring it down just a little before we bring it back up. We got Britt Baker versus Swole. Britt Baker can walk, everybody.
Oh, yeah, that was obvious for a while now.
So Reba comes up to those of you that didn't watch. Reba comes up to Tony Schiavone offering a box of pizza during his interview with Swole. Reba interrupted Tony Schiavone's interview with Swole, that is. And then Britt Baker nails... with the crutch, nails Swole from behind, if I'm not mistaken. And all of a sudden, miraculously, the first time Britt Baker can walk and move around in, 3 months? It looks like apparently Britt Baker is officially ready to go in her match against Swole, which I believe is in the buy-in, they said. Your thoughts on this really quick? I see Britt Baker getting the win here.
Yeah, I see Britt Baker getting the win. It's also a cinematic match. It's going to take place at her dentist office, or did I say that right?
Really?
Yeah. Tooth and nail match is what they're calling.
Yeah. It's tooth and nail match. I didn't realize it was in the office.
That tells me a little bit that maybe she can walk, but I don't think she's 100% ready to wrestle in the ring yet. So it's safer to sit there and do the cinematic route. As much as I hate cinematic matches, I will tolerate this one because I understand.
Let's give it a chance. AEW doesn't go to that well too often like WWE was for a while.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you know what? Like I said, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I don't expect a masterpiece, but I think it'll be somewhat entertaining. Like I said, I love Swole's energy. She's got charisma, and it's hard not to root for her. And Baker, what could I say, man? She's come along as a heel, and
her character development has been phenomenal.
Exactly. So you know what? It's going to be good, and I think it's exactly where it needs to be. It's in the buy-in. So if it's not that good, I at least didn't spend $50 on
it. Yeah. To go off that, one of the things that Tony Khan mentioned, a lot of people are kind of upset with the fact that this match is on the buy-in, and I think that what he said in the show is he called back to the original Double or Nothing pay-per-view where they had MJF, they had Hangman Adam Page on the buy-in. Having those big stars, and it really, it brings people in to say, okay, well, if this is a good match, I'm going to want to buy the whole pay-per-view because it's on free, it's on their YouTube page, it's on their Facebook page. I think this is going to be a really good match. Like you said, it kind of, pushes away the limitations that Britt Baker has in the ring right now because she's still recovering from her injury. I like Big Swole here. I think she's, a really good competitor in the ring. But Britt Baker with the numbers game, I think we could see Penelope Ford. I think we could see Reba get involved. I just think the numbers game is too much, and so that's why I'm going to pick Britt Baker to win this match.
Listen, again, it's on the buy-in, and like Tony Khan said, Give it a chance. It's something different. We're doing something. They're doing something totally not them, and it's going to be very, very interesting. And he's very, very proud. And one of the things that I got the feeling he was saying is he really wants this women's division to grow. And I think it's centered around Britt Baker, and they just need to get her healthy. And this is a way for keeping her involved without being 100% to go.
Next up, we have Jericho versus Orange Cassidy in a Mimosa match. Did I say that right?
Mimosa Mayhem.
Mimosa Mayhem. Okay, I was missing something there.
Yeah. The new Money in the Bank match.
Yeah.
Orange Cassidy gets a win here. What do you think, Em?
Oh no, I'm shooting with Jericho.
You don't think Orange Cassidy is going to take the swim over Jericho? Someone's going in that pool of the bubbly and that orange juice.
I really hope it's not Jericho taking the fall. I mean, he hasn't won a major pay-per-view match and two pay-per-views already. He lost the titles to Moxley, then he lost the big match, the Stadium Stampede to the Elite. I think at this point you got to give him one. I think it's way too early to be pushing Orange this hard. It seems it's getting to the point where it seems like the other company shoving something down your throat. I don't want it to get that way, and I don't want to feel like that on Wednesdays. So I really hope it's Jericho taking this win. He needs it, and I think he needs. I wouldn't say credibility, but consistency at this point. You gotta get some wins, man. The meaningful wins, not like Wednesday and Joey Janela.
I think Jericho takes the win, but at the end of the night, he goes into the big orange champagne thing. I think that actually makes the most sense.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
I like that because somebody's taking a swim in there, and I have trouble to believe that Jericho's not taking a swim in there.
Oh, yeah. I just love how they try to highlight the fact that, winner can win by pinfall, submission, or going in. Like somebody's going to win the match by, a normal pinfall or, hitting a code breaker or something. As much as I want Orange Cassidy to win, I don't see him walking away with this because, I think it's split 50-50. I think either way, you talked about how Jericho hasn't had a credible win. He hasn't in the past few months, but I also still think that he's that big of a name to where if he takes the loss, he can, recover. He can still have those good matches that we've seen. And I think Jericho's kind of, not been the Jericho that we saw when he first came into AEW for the past few months. But I think if he gets the win here, it'll kind of, restore that credibility. In Orange Cassidy, he's the king of Slaw style. He gets a major pop every time he comes out, even without fans. I think, he's still one of the best acts on the entire show. So I think he'll retain that, pop, that credibility. He'll still get the same kind of reaction that he would when fans come back if they were there. So that's why, Jericho, I like your idea there that Jericho goes in somehow. I think they both end up taking a swim in the mimosa or, whatever the combination is there. But, man, what a ridiculous match stipulation for somebody who came up with the Money in the Bank. What is this? And when they first announced it, I was just like, this is the first time I've ever been, what the hell is going on with AEW? It was just something complete. I get that they're trying to be different, but that is
too different.
Exactly. A little too different for me.
You're one step behind the Hog. What was it? The
Hog Pin match.
Yeah, Hog Pin match.
Henry Godwin's going to come out here and throw him in there.
Yeah, it's like we're one step behind that.
I think Randy booked it best here. Yeah. Jericho somehow gets the win, but still thrown in. I could expect maybe Best Friends coming out and toss them in there.
I can see
before Inner Circle can get to them. But well, we're gonna start bringing the plane in for landing, folks. But before we do, just to remind you guys to give us a like, subscribe, and please share this with your friends, your wrestling fan friends. This is the AEW prediction show for this Saturday night. This is a big show. Make sure you're sharing it with your friends. And also, as a reminder, as listed right on the bottom of the screen, we're available on YouTube, Twitter, iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, and more. And you can also visit www www.backsportspage.com for all your sports news. Hey, football season's happening very soon. You're going to catch some information on there with backsportspage.com. And don't forget to check out Level 1 Games. M is our point of contact there. M, you want to describe a little bit of what your Level 1 Games is really quick?
We do new games, we do old games, retro games, and we do TCGs, which are Pokemon. It's Magic the Gathering. We hold events. We watch wrestling, obviously, and that's pretty much it.
Awesome.
I'm sorry, and Wayne, also too with backsportspage.com, we post the shows as they're going live, so you can actually watch these shows live on backsportspage.com.
Shameless plug, but I like it.
You can see Tommy, you can see Wayne, you can see myself, all backsportspage.com. Wayne has his own profile there too. He doesn't realize it, but it's there. So,
where's my profile? I feel left out now.
You want a profile?
Yeah, I want a profile.
See you on my podcast next week, buddy.
It's like, listen, angry Spanish guy. Don't talk WWE to him.
Yeah, you're laughing, but my buddy Jose's Twitter handle, Angry Jose. I put him that way.
Oh, man.
I love it.
Alrighty. So to close out the show, we are talking about the main event of the evening. AEW Championship is on the line. AEW Champion Jon Moxley versus MJF for the AEW title. Listen, they can go a couple different ways here. I'm not too sure. I'm leaning. Oh, this is a tough one to call. I'm leaning maybe 60 to 75% Jon Moxley wins here. MJF stood tall majorly on Dynamite the night before. Him and Wardlow responsible for beating Jon Moxley to a bloody pulp. So that's how Dynamite goes off the air on Wednesday night. MJF stands tall. Logic booking would have it that Jon Moxley should escape with the win. However, during this match, Jon Moxley's paradigm shift is banned. So, M, who do you got?
Oh, man. 100% Moxley. As much as I like him to lose the belt, I just don't see it. I want MJF to be the champion. I think he's the future of this company. I just don't see them committing tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Saturday, now that I think about it.
You know what? In 45 minutes, it'll be tomorrow.
Yeah, right? So I just don't see it. So in 48 hours, is it? I don't see him walking out with the belt. Moxley all the way. And then, like you said earlier, they'll probably either set him up for Cage, which was my pick, and or Archer, which was your pick. So I don't see it.
Yeah, you know what? There's got to be a way, just like when they had Cage lose to Moxley a couple months ago. They have to find a way for Moxley to beat MJF, but MJF to still look strong and put him in situations where he's going to be able to contribute in a big way. I really do. I don't see Moxley losing it. MJF is still a young kid. I think it's going to. I think it's. I'm sorry. It's just that's too funny. I think that MJF's future is bright. I think he'll be a champion at some point, but just not yet. He's not ready yet. So
he doesn't need it now. He's just 24 years old. He's got a long career ahead of him. You know he's the future. The only thing that concerns me is when Justin Incredible was talking on his show, episode 25. For those of you that are watching, shameless plug for episode 25 when we had Justin Incredible on, saying that there could be rumblings of talks of maybe MJF between MJF and WWE. So at some point, you're going to have to kind of put the belt on MJF. And you know what? He's been running with his heel roll as best as anybody in the business right now.
Agreed.
And I'm going to play devil's advocate, and I'm going to say that MJF gets the win here. I love his heel work. If you read another shameless plug, my AEW reviews on Back Sports page, I have constantly praised MJF. I think he is, as we've said, the future of the business. Even Tony Khan mentioned it today in his media call. I love his heel work. I love his mic skills. I think his in-ring work is great. And I really do think, you get to the point where MJF, we see it's almost stereotypical, this move is banned, the spear is banned, whatever is banned, and that person always finds a way to win. Somebody needs to win where that move is banned, man. Like I'm telling you, when somebody has to completely change their wrestling style, they can't use their finisher. That should be an advantage for the heel, and they should take, don't want to use the same word, but they should take advantage of that. They should get the win. And so, we want to talk about strapping a rocket to these people. Moxley's great. Moxley's, again, another one of those big names that isn't going to lose his spot on the card. He's always going to be one of the main event guys. And he has a lot of people that he can work with that I'd be interested in seeing him work with. But MJF, he's just got so much talent and so much charisma, and they've strapped a rocket to him, and they've given him such great, the campaign segments. Oh man, what a great way, to make it kind of current and what's going on in the world. What a great, way to give him even more of a heelish turn. I mean, with the people that he has around him, making fun of the girl for not smiling and stuff. It's just great stuff. And I love MJF, and I really do think he's going to get the win here.
I really hope you're right.
And they made MJF look very strong, by the way.
Yeah,
very strong. Like
exactly,
it was a different side of MJF we haven't seen.
Well, yeah, and I think with MJF going off the air this past week, looking that strong, that goes what I was saying before. They need to find a way to make him still strong, even in defeat. And maybe, just maybe, I didn't like what happened at the end of Revolution on how they just went away from Cody and MJF like that. Maybe they will learn from that and find a way to maybe push off the title match, whoever the new number one contender is going to be, and keep MJF in that mix. It doesn't hurt to make it a triple threat match every once in a while.
Let me interrupt really quick. MJF is campaigning right now. He's on a campaign.
Why are you making it sound like it's an actual campaign? I'm trying to...
He's running for president.
He's in the middle of a...
Muting you. No, just messing.
He needs every vote that he can get. This is a very important race here.
This is campaign season.
This isn't
the presidents are running for election in November. What if MJF loses this Saturday night and he continues on with the gimmick of the campaign throughout until the next pay-per-view where he wins the title?
But think of all the electoral college votes he could get if he wins on Saturday.
This is not like the WWF back when Mr. McMahon Sr. and other board of directors, they all have to vote. I think we should vote Ric Flair as champion, and everybody has to vote on it too. This ain't that, man. It's not
like
that.
A jury.
Yeah. Like,
does MJF does Wardlow get involved?
Yeah, definitely.
Yes, for sure.
Yeah. Does he get involved in the outcome, like maybe throwing in a towel?
No.
So MJF doesn't take the defeat clean.
I think the throwing in the towel thing is something that you can only use every so often.
Yeah.
And I don't.
AEW has gone to that well twice already.
Exactly.
2 of the last 5 pay-per-views.
Yeah, twice too many, honestly.
Exactly.
I think that's something that, if Wardlow was to cost MJF, it would be, something with the ref. If MJF doesn't win this match, it's going to be from interference from Wardlow costing him. And I think we could see a Wardlow MJF, kind of slow burn. Yeah, that's what I was going for. Because like you said, we have that somebody's getting a future title shot. And if it's Lance Archer or Darby Allin or even somebody, I didn't even think about it. Eddie Kingston is kind of a sleeper pick. I think he could be somebody who could really benefit from a win here.
Yes. Oh, yes. How do we not mention his name? His name was brought up earlier.
Yeah, I'd be good with that.
Eddie Kingston could. I mean, why not him versus Moxley? Give me.
It would give a lot of credibility to the stable that he's trying to build.
No, that would be cool, man. But one thing I wanted to mention, and here's a scenario. So the paradigm shift is banned. Wardlow hits the ref at some point, and Moxley knocks Wardlow off the apron, and paradigm shift wakes up the ref, and he wins. You know, that's something that could set up that slow burn you were talking about. So something like that. I'm seeing interference, but it's gonna cost them.
Yeah, I'm just so tired of, like we saw it in the other company a lot of times with, somebody gets their move banned and they find a way to win. I want to see the heel, use that to their advantage and take, whatever it means, whether that, if there's a ref bump where he hits the paradigm shift where the ref's down and then Wardlow gets in and attacks him and they do, a double team move to where MJF wins or something like that.
That would be great.
I feel like there's just so many times where we see that where somebody gets a finisher or gets some move banned and they still find a way to win. And I just, at some points, the heels got to come out on top.
You know what's funny is that you mentioned that, and New Japan, I hate to bring it up, New Japan had a match like that. What was it, last week, where it was El Desperado and somebody else, and Yuji Nagata, I think it was. And he couldn't use his finisher. Nobody can use their finisher, and he used his finisher and got disqualified. And El Desperado is great.
That kind of reminds me of back in the day. And I know, M, you're probably gonna cringe, but it's a good example that when you had Stone Cold Steve Austin versus Dude Love, you had Vince McMahon out there as the big ringing a bell, I guess. You had Pat Patterson, and then the other guy,
Gerald Briscoe.
Yeah, Gerald Briscoe, basically running the outside referee, the one ringing the bell, and Vince McMahon said, "You're screwed, Austin. You're screwed." And sure enough, we see Steve Austin come out on top. So we've seen scenarios like this. And you make a really good point, Tommy, how they're kind of stacking the odd against him a little bit, and he'll overcome. I'm looking for Moxley to win here, but I'm definitely seeing a return match maybe November, unless they have a plan for Hangman Omega. What do you think?
I don't see Hangman and Omega in November. If anything, maybe in 2021.
Oh, okay. As far as like a title shot.
Yeah, I probably see Omega in the title picture sometime around then.
Gosh,
that would make
only
sense.
hope.
Yeah, I mean, listen, 2020 has been crap, so it's like let's just chalk it up.
I mean, we've had some great AEW stuff in the midst of all this.
I mean, but life in general kind of sucks. The new world is not cool, man. I don't like this. It's like up is down, down is up. Oh, man.
Alrighty, Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast fans, that pretty much wraps up our prediction show. All Out, this is it. All Out is in just about 41 hours from now, 8 p.m. Saturday night. I will be watching. We'll be coming to you with a post show on Sunday discussing the madness that took place the night before, which will be this Saturday. But in the meantime, that wraps up episode 35 already. Week 19. We start week 20. Technically, we start week 20 on Sunday. Is moving along, guys. Moving along. Em, thank you so much for hopping on tonight. Randy and Tommy, thank you so much for hopping on. For those of you that are watching, please be sure to subscribe to the Deep Six Pro Wrestling Podcast YouTube channel. Share with your friends. I know each and every single one of you guys that are watching this right now or will be watching this or listening have friends that watch wrestling. Share it. Give us a share.
Yeah,
and also give us a review. Gentlemen, thank you so much for hopping on. And that wraps up our show.
Thank you for having us, dude.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
Thanks for having us, brother.